regional and international disputes and conflicts on the basis of the norms and principles of international law. 3. Reaffirming their readiness to actively support the actions of the international community in addressing common security threats to the region and world security and stability, such as terrorism, transnational organized crimes, illicit trafficking of drugs, so on and so forth. And again, going back to the point on reconfirming territorial integrity. Again, all of these points are very vague and open and can be interpreted both regarding Karabakh and regarding Armenia. So I want to know, how is this process delinked, especially when Turkey's chief diplomat is standing in front of the TV or in front of reporters and saying that this process is linked?
Are you doing their work? Are you doing the Turkish work for them? I mean, come on. Artsakh, Nagorno-Karabakh, not a word of it is found in the protocol. You're interpreting language that has been heavily negotiated to include that issue. You're broadening the protocol yourself to include that. I don't know why you're doing that when the protocol is called for the establishment of relations between Armenia and Turkey. That is the parameter that's linked from it. And the foreign minister said it the day after. He said it once, and he said it after the protocol was negotiated. If the protocol dealt with that, it would be involved it would be part of the negotiations. Turkey would not leave it out. All right, and it's the opponents of the protocols that are backdooring this issue into it. Work the process and the protocol. You don't want it linked. We don't want it linked. The Republic of Armenia doesn't want it linked. It's incumbent upon them to use the protocols to make sure they're not linked. I'm not willing, and I don't think the Republic of Armenia is willing, to surrender at the outset and give in on the linking. Look, we all would have written this language tighter. We would have all been more complete on this language. It's heavily negotiated. It's translated into 3 languages. The English version is the one that's compelling and is the official one. However, if one side could write it, they would write it it would be written differently. Agreed. But it doesn't mean that it can't be the platform for you to accomplish what you want. And the national security interest for the Republic of Armenia is determined by the Republic of Armenia and their military and their strength and in the context of the neighborhood that country exists. And they have to take the steps that they need to maintain their survival and maintain their national interest. There are lots of vaguely worded documents in the history of mankind. The UN is written vaguely, but it's how these documents are used in terms of accomplishing what you need to accomplish. If this is the door that allows Turkey and the Turkish people to acknowledge their history and creates the process that gets them to recognize the first genocide of the 20th century, then it is a successful document and we will live with vague language.
Շնորհակալություն, եւս մեկ արդյոք Միացյալ Հայերի դասավների կողմից Հարութ խնդրեմ։
Ես կուզենայի ավելացնել երևի մի փոքր նախ եւ առաջ բացատրեի Assembly ներկայացումը, որ այս պրոտոկոլները կամ այս համաձայնագիրը դուր կարող է հանդիսանալ հայոց ցեղասպանությունը ճանաչումը Թուրքիայի մեջ։ Ես կուզեմ նշել դեռ որ Թուրքիայում դեռ սպանվում են ժուրնալիստներ, Թուրքիայում սպանվում են գրողներ հայոց ցեղասպանությունը ճանաչելով, եւ դա արվում է թե պետական եւ թե նացիոնալիստ կազմակերպության կողմից։ Ես դժբախտաբար չեմ կարող նորից ընդունել դիրքը, որ վերցվում է Assembly կողմից եւ անգլերենով երևի կրկնեմ, որ պատասխանը ստանամ, արդեն իսկ վստահության հարց է ծագում հայ-թուրքական հարաբերություններում, քանի որ պրոտոկոլում գրված է հաստատելով իրենց հանձնառությունը ձեռնպահ մնալ բարեդիրացական հարաբերությունների ոգուն չհամապատասխանող քաղաքականության բարելուց։ Նշանակում է Հայաստանի կառավարությունը եւ Թուրքիայի կառավարությունը պետք է որևէ միջոցներ չեռարկեն միմիասին իրար հակառակ, բայց նույն ժամանակ թուրքական կառավարությունը ստեղծում է Ministry of Propaganda կամ այդ նոր նախարարությունը որը հատուկ աշխատելու է հայկական սպյուրքի դեմ եւ դա արդեն իսկ ցուցադրում է որ եւ արդեն իսկ այդ իրենք կարողանում են այդ artificial կամ այդ սարքած այդ ձևական բաժանեն եւ արհեստական կերպով բաժանեն սպյուրքը հայրենիքից եւ ես ուզում եմ անգլերենով կրկնել եւ հույսով պատասխան ստանալ I think the issue of the trust when we discussed about what is not included should be taken at their face value in that protocol. As you said, Karabakh is not there, but it should be taken into consideration. In the protocol, I have the Armenian version, unfortunately, but there's a portion that says that by taking into consideration basically this protocol, the two sides will be, I guess, take steps not to do anything like against one another. I'm not sure if that's the language that is used.
Conforming all forms of terrorism, violence. And
No. Well, Hastat. It's actually.
Which paragraph?
It is.
Which protocol?
It's actually towards the end of the protocol. Let me see. It's actually the paragraph right before the terrorism. By taking into consideration, they have to be basically stay away from actions.
Spirit of good neighborly relations.
Yes, and it's funny that the Turkish government has recently talked about and they actually proposed opening a ministry of propaganda that would work explicitly. I mean, their duty is going to be work explicitly against the Armenian diaspora, and I think that already puts that issue of trust out there and questions this issue. And I think another question that you raised, that this might be a door for the Turkish government to recognize the Turkey recognize the Armenian genocide. And I want to remind that they're still in Turkey. There are journalists that are being harassed, killed, and everything else. And also, after everything else has been recognized, what else are we gaining by Turkey's recognition of the Armenian genocide? If we're basically telling to Turkey, we don't want any land reparation, we don't want anything. We're recognizing your borders now, and we're, I'm sure, this, whatever the commission that is going to be created, questioning the issue of the genocide, if the genocide gets recognized, what are we gaining out of it? If no reparation, no land reparation, financially, they might throw something across to us, financially, maybe, after they recognize it, as you said. But with this, with the idea of them this protocol being a way to recognize it, I think that the argument is not valid in this case.
Շնորհակալություն, ավելի շատ բաց դիսկուսիայի վերածվեց, որը շատ ուրախ է, որովհետև հարցը իրոք շատ զգայուն հարց է, շատ կարևոր, չափազանց կարևոր հարց է, եւ եւս մի քանի կարծիքներ ունենք մասնակիցների կողմից։ Գագիկ Մխիթարյանը ունի խոսք ասելու, որը ներկայանում է Վուդբերի համալսարանի հայ ուսանողների միությունից։
I would like to say, if, let's say, the Armenian government accepts this protocol, signs the protocol, and the years pass on, and if some Armenian insults the Turkishness of the Turkey Republic, and let's say, unfortunately, it will be an Armenian, and if the same thing happened to Hrant, happens to that individual, and the Armenian society, the Armenian Republic, the Armenian government, all the Armenians stand up and go against this issue, and Turkey, let's say, closes the borders again, and years later it proposes another protocol of if you do not say the Armenian genocide did not happen, we won't open the borders again. I mean, how can we face that issue? How can we trust them after years and years of massacre and dishonesty and procedures that did not have to be taken? And first time the Turkish government, President Gül visited the Republic of Armenia, a year ago, and I think that was just a political act of proposing this protocol toward the Republic of Armenia. And I would like to know your thought about it, if that can, if that's possible or not.
Եվ կլսենք վերջին կարծիքը, որը կասվի Հայ հեղափոխական դաշնակցության կենտրոնական կոմիտեի անդամ Սեթո Բոյաջյանի կողմից, խնդրեմ։